most of it on screen. Go. No, it's not working. It's not working. It's happening. Fucking hell. Okay, I'll go to the. No, no, no. They cannot hear any of us. That's what happens. Let me see. Say something. Oh yeah, they can hear us.
Works. So you haven't played the intro yet. Okay, so you haven't played the intro yet, right? Notice. Okay, so I'll give an intro and then you will play the video intro, right? Hola Madre, this is we were expecting, we weren't expecting, but we were facing some technical difficulties on our end. I blame Doris. I hold my hands up. It wasn't on me, but she got it fixed, you know.
It happened.
But it happens. It happens. It's all good. Yeah, like we have a preview, a very special preview against our fierce, you know, old town rivals, who has been under the blankets, under the cosh for a bit. Um, Not like they used to compete, but they used to kind of make their voices heard for the last, for the best part of the, you know, the last decade or so. But it has kind of gone a bit downhill. Um, but either way, we expect it to be a fiery clash. Like even when the stakes aren't that high, it tends out to be like a very competitive affair. And with a semi-final berth on the line tomorrow, I expect it to be fireworks. So yeah, welcome back again.
Welcome back, everyone.
Well, there you go. Welcome back, people. Before we kind of dive into business, you know, welcome my esteemed panel, Doris, who has been with us for a bit now. Vishal is kind of a new face, a newbie in this scene. How are you guys doing? Tell me your thoughts. Looking forward to tomorrow. With us for a bit now. Vishal. There is an echo.
Yeah, sorry, that was me on my phone. Yeah, of course, it will be a big game. Every time we have the derby, it's a huge game. Atletico, as we know, hasn't been on the best run, and Simeone is looking like he will leave at the end of the season. Yeah, they're not a team in the greatest shape, but they will definitely be a threat to us tomorrow. And as you know, like trophy is a trophy, and we really want this one. So yeah, it will be even sweeter if we win tomorrow.
Yeah,
Fair point. Vishal.
yeah. I think for me, one thing that's pretty relevant here is this is pretty much the only trophy that Atleti is realistically in contention for. I mean, La Liga is, let's say, out of the picture. So, yeah, if this is the first time in what 200 years that Simeone's job is actually on the line, that people are actually sort of looking in another direction, maybe thinking, oh, Luis Enrique doesn't have a job. Like people are thinking in that direction. Few Atletico fans are unthinkable for so long. So a lot rides on them winning this trophy, I feel. And so yeah, so that it's gonna be pretty intense. They will really want to go through.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you this. Do you see Simeone walking away into the sunset if he wins this trophy?
Uh, I actually don't think him walking away is on either the Atleti board or Simeone's fans. Only because I think Atletico is now in a, like, the best way to think of it is like Sir Alex and United. Like it takes a lot before you think of separating with Sir Alex, and that showed in them sticking with him for a seriously long period of time. So that's how important these two have become to each other over the years. Because he brought them here from nothing. Like this
Yeah.
is not me. Like them winning two La Ligas, Madrid and Barca's craziest, most farming level era.
Yes.
Not as right. So like they've become very endeared to each other. I still think, regardless of how the
And
season.
and the record in the Champions League is exceptional. Exceptional.
Yeah, unreal. So many like big teams would kill to have that kind of like entry into even the final stage of the Champions League. Then they won the Super Cup as well, UEFA Super Cup, Europa League twice. So winners, man, like they know what to do in cup games. So it will be a difficult for obvious reasons. Atletico always make it difficult, like not just for us, but a cup competition. Like it's always gonna be hard, I feel.
See, this is the funny bit for me. Yeah. My best friend in college used to be an Atleti fan. Yeah. an Atleti fan from India, so it's even more of an exception. But he used to be so passionate about Simeone and his vision. And honestly, I used to side up with him when we were up against, the Barca fans, the Cules. But now, kind of looking back 10 years on, I feel like exactly like what you said, I share the same sympathy. Like, if you kind of separate Simeone from Atleti is going to lose that identity and that sheer willpower to, go against odds, in my opinion, at least. Like, I don't see them replicating any of this if Simeone walks. Another manager would be able to kind of get a bounce out of the team because it definitely seems like they're in a lull. But looking long term, Simeone staying is good for the league, is good for us because we need fierce competition. And yeah, man, like uh, Simeone leaving is gonna devastate Athletic. But when I actually looked at the league table, it is a grim reading for Athletic fans because yeah, they're fourth, but the fact that they are only like 5 points away from Mallorca in 10th, it is they're walking on thin ice. Let's put it that way, because you never know come business end of the season when you're facing up against teams that are fighting for survival, etc. Like, I don't know, man. Atleti definitely has the quality. I mean, they have the players. Like, it has always been a carousal, like where they're constant ins and outs. Atleti, apart from maybe Griezmann, is the exception, probably where they have kind of stooped a bit low for a player, but more often than not, like they don't tolerate any kind of divas, like what you saw with Felix. Like he was shipped out with immediate effect, and like big props to them, man. Like this constant revolving door of like big players, big time players, veterans, some who have stayed way past their welcome. Like, in my opinion, Savage has been one of them. But then you look at Axel Witsel and you wonder, like, why would he be a potential signing for Atleti? But yeah, man, it's kind of all over the place. Before I could resonate to an Atleti signing and be like, oh, they might add a bit more bite into that team. But now it has kind of shied away from that whole identity, and it's a much more free-flowing side, isn't Vishal?
Yeah, Atleti, I feel like a couple of things. One important thing you said is like, yeah, okay, the fourth, I guess, but they're also like so close to 10. There's been very few like free points this year for teams across the table, except maybe Barca. Barca always has a way of doing okay in the league every year. But right from Real Madrid to anywhere, look at Sevilla. They are having their first slump in like 5 years, and they are sitting rock bottom. So Atleti has also suffered because of that. They have suffered against a lot of like relegation quality teams as well. I think this season a lot of it is down to like the players sort of not performing up to a level that we know them to perform. This season and last season, like for me, it's just a lot of horrible individual errors, defensive stability was sort of their hallmark, but you see defenders making errors, somebody's not clearing the ball, somebody just misses entirely. Hermoso has one of those games. So I think that's why like they've really suffered this year. And it shows. But at least as far as Atleti is concerned, I think long term, yeah, like across the season, this one trophy is one of those things that they're really sort of putting a lot of hopes on. Apart from that, in La Liga, they will hope to finish in a CL spot. They've never finished below third, which is again quite crazy. So they will at least have those standards going as well. I don't know about second. I don't think they can make it. Madrid and Barca are really flying. So yeah, but it's gonna be hard. It's a really hard season. I'd say it's like the first season where it was like December or November, and already all hope was lost. They were way down the table, knocked out of seat, nothing to play for, right? So yeah, like this is like the first Simeone season where you're thinking, wait, what's actually happening? Things are absolutely not going right.
Mm,
So like a hard season. They've had a good start after the World Cup. So like I am a huge fan of Simeone. I don't like Atletico Madrid either, but I really respect the man. So I do want good things for them at the end of the day. And yeah, they've had a good start, like coming back from the World Cup. So positives, but it's still like a long season ahead of them. And again, like running into Madrid in the quarterfinals was probably not their
mm.
favorite idea of how the season should keep going. But yeah, like crunch game, like they probably see it as a chance to knock out a favorite kind of early into the competition. So yeah,
As favorites in the Copa del Rey, I beg to differ. I beg to differ.
I mean,
But
we made it this far. Yeah, we,
yeah,
we can dream. We can dream.
of course. Like last year, rewinded back to last year, I would never foresee myself in the position having a chat with someone that dreams to be winning the Copa del Rey. But the landscape has changed. The landscape has changed, definitely changed. The frustrations have been ever growing. Like it's been what 8-9 years since we last won it. So
Yeah.
there is a desire to. I can see it in the players, especially like at Ceramica. Like we could see that there was a clear desire to kind of go deep into this competition. But yeah, man, going back to that point of wishing well on Simeone, um, obviously as a fellow La Liga enthusiast like myself, like I've always wanted the best for him, but it almost feels like it comes from this complex that maybe Arsenal have against Tottenham, because it's never really a competitor, but it is a competitor, but they are really never really going anywhere, but you kind of want them to be doing good, which in
Yeah.
turn does be better. But I get it. Atleti and Simeone is a huge attraction for La Liga. But Doris, like,
Yeah.
I want to come to you. So Simeone has done a very significant overhaul of this Atleti side throughout the last decade, and kind of catapulted them into the European stage, and make them a side to be reckoned with, um, regardless of the competition. So, like, do you think that this slump is kind of blown out of proportion, or do you think Simeone's hands are like tied a bit, and is just a general natural progressive decline that he's facing?
Um, as you said, I would call it natural. Like he's been in that place for a while now, and the team has progressed immensely over the years, but they never really reached the trophy that they probably still hurting about to this day. And that's probably the biggest thing for Atletico, especially because they won the league 2 seasons ago, and it's not like they cannot be competitors in the league. But I think uh, when you don't even show yourself as a real threat in the league, but you're not doing well with the other, competitions and stuff, I feel like it's right for them from them to criticize him, given that it is Simeone. Like he's been through a lot, like, and that team has been through a lot, and it's just it was about time, and I'm more afraid of what's about to come now that this team settled a little bit. But there's so many things and elements to Atletico, especially their rumors of transfers and players that they need to let go, and players that they might actually need. Mostly Griezmann and Carrasco. Like both of them are for sale, or at least are rumored to be sold. So yeah, they will lose some quality players in the future, but right now I think that it's deserved to be called a slump, and there is hope that they will get better, especially if they appoint someone like Tuchel. Maybe he sounds like a like a good manager for that team, and I would be actually like really afraid if he comes to coach Atletico. That definitely means nothing until it reaches the end of the season. We'll see where Simeone goes, but for now, I think that we're the favorites for tomorrow, at least for now.
Fair point. Fair point. Yeah, Tuchel is a good shot, but I haven't read anywhere linking him with the job. Like he would be a very good acquisition.
He started to learn Spanish, and he said that he wants to
Yeah.
go to La Liga, and
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
and given
Yeah.
that Xavi is definitely staying at Barcelona as the coach, Ancelotti is a maybe, so it's probably either for
Probably
Ancelotti
in
or
Madrid.
Simone, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want Tuchel anywhere near our club, unfortunately. Like I rate him as a coach, but
He doesn't fit us. He definitely
no,
doesn't fit us.
no, that is not the kind of
But Atletico, I
person.
think he would fit
Yeah.
them. He would definitely fit them. They maybe play too defensively right now, but that's just Simone. Like I think what they actually need is Tuchel to actually go forward a bit. But Tuchel is also, sometimes people say that he's not how do you say, like safe enough. He likes to take risks, which is that is the Atleti way, and I actually think like he would actually fit that team pretty much
Very
perfectly.
disruptive personality. Like that's my gripe with him.
Yeah.
It remains to see how well he would do. He would definitely not be a success with us. He might win a trophy or two, but he's gonna leave a
Yeah.
scar when he eventually gets sacked. But just like how Mourinho left, like it wasn't great. But yeah, he would be a good signing for Atleti, I think, I guess. But Vishal, let's move into some of their major players throughout the season. Griezmann,
Right.
finally, I guess the shackles are off and he can play more than 60 minutes, I reckon, now.
Yeah. I
Before
think that
that,
was
Mm,
yeah, that
go
was
on.
one of the funniest things. Like he would come off the bench after what, 60 minutes, 61, something like that of the
Yeah.
contract. Crazy
Yeah.
stuff, by the way. He's been scamming everybody this transfer market. One place they've done really well is transfer market. Like everybody's got
Depay for
players.
3
I
million.
thought Depay for 3 million, Joao Felix on loan for half a season for 11 million, they got 11 million for somebody on loan. Then Cunha, really 50 million. No way. Lots of money they've made on players that maybe they should make more money on. So yeah, as far as threats go, Griezmann, yeah, now that he's playing full 90s again, he's showing his quality. He's playing a very free role, keeps appearing between the lines. Like whoever our DMs has, whoever's going to be on the day has their work cut out. He's gonna appear, he's gonna make passes, he's gonna dribble past 3, 4 people. Griezmann's a huge threat. Another like underrated threat I would say is Correa. He's in form. And for me, he is that striker who sort of really stretches the defensive line. So Griezmann with Correa
He's
is a
sort
bit of a
of been an
problem. Correa's gonna
enigma,
find
at least in my opinion, at least. Like Korea has
Yeah.
been so underrated. Like he, in my
Yeah,
opinion,
I
never
agree.
get recognition. At least in the
I
Atleti, setup, he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. He's a very very tricky player. Who can actually even play out wide. He's very effective even
Yeah.
out wide.
all across the line. Yeah, he play across the
Yeah.
line. He's good on the ball, but he really like makes good runs behind the defensive end. So that's something I'd be worried about. We'll mostly control possession. That's just how it goes. So we will leave
Yeah.
space behind our line. So players like I'd be a little worried about. Morata does that well. I'd be worried about him as well. I mean, I think Morata would probably start the game. That's what's gonna happen. But yeah, Griezmann's the one to watch out for sure. Another player I would say that we should keep an eye on would be, if he starts, he hasn't been, but Kondogbia, if he plays, he's a ball winning machine, like a monster, octopus in the middle. So I don't know why he hasn't started. I feel at least the last two games I saw, I didn't see him on pitch. But if he's
Mm.
starting, like he's be a lot of trouble. So yeah, just a few players. The backline has been so and so throughout the season. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oblak's been fine. He's not been world beating like he was, but at least he
He
was
had
like last
he
season.
had a close start
Yeah,
of the season, if I remember.
yeah.
La-
Oblak last season was like statistically the worst keeper in the world.
Mm.
157 on shot saving percent. But yeah, the season is bad. In a good way. But yeah, I would say the defensive line is prone to errors. Biggest problem for them, I feel. But yeah, as
Mm.
far as players look for, like Griezmann, 100% sure. Like I'd put 80% of my focus on that guy because everything creative comes from there to me. As far as
Yeah.
the final, okay.
Yeah, like the good thing that you pointed out is how they don't look like themselves, like especially in defense, because going back all those years, you still have Savage, man. You still have Jose Maria Gimenez. When I thought that he would really be one of the best centre backs in Europe. He hasn't really stepped up, I feel like, and Axel Witsel has been basically done. I mean, I don't know how he manages to move up around the pitch. It is kind of a shame because Axel Witsel also used to be very highly regarded young prospect. Even before he broke through in Dortmund, I guess he was at Club Brugge before that.
Yeah, he was in Belgium. Yeah.
Yeah, like so. Yeah, man. These players, when I look at it, the defensive aspect of Atleti was always the eye catching component in their machine, but now it doesn't seem the case. And Vishal, like, why do you think Simeone had like kind of gone against his own method to madness? Is it bought by the design that he currently has to deal with his defense not so effective, not the characters that you had, like your Godin back in the
Yeah.
day? Um,
Yeah, I'm
you,
sure he's missing Cody. But I think this season, like Simeone has tried, okay, like the whole season he's tried. He tried, started off with the five at the back, with Witzel at the middle of the three center man
yeah,
formation.
he was
Because
shocking there. I saw a few games.
I thought he was fine. I thought he was fine. Actually, this is not saying a lot, but I thought he was the best center back because the Savage was unavailable, Jimenez was unavailable. But even when they came back, basically, I think Simeone's plan was to revert to the
Even Mandava was playing one
4-2-1.
of the center backs, right? In the
Yeah,
back
yeah.
line.
Mandava and Witzel were the only ones who could like
Mandava was good,
show
I
the
remember.
everybody else. Yeah, yeah. Lennon was a very good player. Like I really rate. Great by very cheap also.
Mm.
But yeah, he tried to follow the I don't know once the game for the back more so, and I think it was Jimenez. Um, for 20 minutes, they got attacked on transition some 9 to 10 times, and like next minute he made a change and switched right back to five at the back. So that game sort of proved to me that it's just the players are not playing. Like he's trying stuff. He's tried five at the back. He's tried four at the back. They're not responding. The centre backs are not people you can trust anymore. Like at least until the World Cup for sure. Like so untrustworthy. Just losing the ball here and there. Losing duels, like losing second balls, all these things that Atleti used to do so well, like cleaning up their backyard was what they were insanely good at.
Mm.
But really bad individual performances, which is what makes you hope that there will be a revival, like if they come back to form types. But yeah, I feel like Simeone's tried everything. Like maybe you can fault the fact that he's not created enough attacking patterns this season. Defense wise, I don't know what more he can do. Structurally, as ever, it's been tight, but it's just here and there. People sloppy, just switched off in their heads. Very weird. It's one of those teams. Atletico is one of those teams where, like, if they're mentally switched on, then they will hold on for 90 minutes, regardless of what's happening. But if doubts start creeping in here and there, they can sort of back off and not
Mm.
really know what to do. And this season has shown that a lot. Right?
I think it's subconsciously like if you're a player, and regardless, like if you're a new player or someone who has been accustomed to how Atleti goes about their business. When you have this kind of uh, like like second guessing what you're supposed to carry out on the pitch, when there is this clear mismatch of identities, especially in the past 2 seasons, after they won La Liga. Even when they won La Liga, like they were lauded for not being really the Atleti of old, kind of evolving with the time and being a little more progressive. But now it kind of feels like a mismatch and kind of like a clash of styles. And I feel like the players really don't know in what gear to be, when navigating matches. I think that is probably one of the biggest reasons why Atleti hasn't really kicked on.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Like I look at the starting level, like it's not bad. It's not the worst side in La Liga. It's by far one of the better sides in La Liga, especially the depth they have up front. Morata, who has been, again, like people keep asking everyone they know, how does this guy manage to, land big roles? I mean, not just big part roles in top clubs, but being the main man year in year out. And I've always told them that this guy, he might not be the flashiest striker out there, he might not be the most clinical striker out there, but he does the job. He's the manager's dream, basically. Like pressing from the front, being a constant nuisance to deal with. Looking at players like that, like I kind of wonder probably if Simeone reverted back to his ideology that won him the league 2 years ago. Maybe he can make the most out of the attacking depth he has, like in Morata and Griezmann. In Lemar, we miss Lemar, who has been kind of having a lull, I think, last season. But like, do you like? I haven't seen Lemar much. Like, do you think he has kind of stepped up the season a bit more?
Maybe even he's been kind of hot and cold. This season, there's literally, I don't think there's anybody to talk about for Atletico Madrid, except for Griezmann, I'd say. But I would say, as far as style goes, like if Simeone wants to revert to that high pressing sort of style that won him the league last time, let's say, I just wouldn't trust his backline with that. That's simply the thing. I feel like at this point is like you have to overprotect your backline, which is really leaking, which is your biggest strength, I feel. So ride out the storm the way you know it. Next season, like maybe they can think about stuff. Forward depth, I agree, but yeah, I think that if they need an elite centre back so bad, like more than anyone else. I hear Soyuncu is coming next season. I don't know if that's like an elite centre back signing. But like a proper centre back would fix so many problems for Simeone. That's what he's lacking. Like you said, I think you mentioned goalie.
I would advise the Atleti board to stay away from the guy.
Not a lot of. I think it's already done, but I wouldn't pin a lot of hopes on anything changing with that. Maybe.
If the makeshift David Luiz, in 5 years is benching you at Leicester, boy oh boy, it's peak for Soyuncu. Yeah. Because when he broke through, I had high hopes for him, but he is not quite the player. Quite the player we all thought he would turn out to be. But yeah, you made some brilliant points, especially the personal. I feel is what holds Simeone back a lot. But I guess it's time we move on to our end of things. And how do you think, Vishal, is Atleti going to line up tomorrow? Is it going to be a much more conservative 3 at the back, 5 at the back? Or do you think they're going to go with something that packs the midfield, like a 4-1-4-1 kind of deal with Koke, CDM?
So I feel like this season he's tried many things. Big games he tends to stick to what he knows, what he likes, which is sort of hold fort first instead of being more, let's say,
proactive.
What's going on. So more that's what I was thinking. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he rolled in with the 5 at the back, even though he hasn't post World Cup. He might do that. He might But I think a 4-4-2 works better. He can double up on, let's say, like who he would perceive as threats, like Vinicius, like or a 4-4. Just have two men on the side to
Yeah.
really cover our wide threats, which are our main threats. To be fair, most of our play
Mm.
comes from the wing. So I probably would inch towards like there being a 4-4-2 or a 4-1 type setup. That's what they played well with post World Cup as well, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So he might go to that. I just don't know if I trust again that centre back pair, like with two centre backs. Whoever it is that steps up, nobody's proven themselves to be trustworthy. So big game, cup game pressure at the Bernabeu, like it might tell.
I heard
Like
just less than 500 fans visiting, so yeah, it's gonna be.
that's not going to be good for them. So it's going to be very hostile for them. A lot of pressure. I think like cup games, it always comes down to so many intangibles. But I think as far as on paper goes, Atleti's best plan would be to roll out with what they've done good so far. Also because it helps you like try and mitigate that left side threat that Madrid have. Like that is why we create most of our stuff. Benzema, Vinny, Interlink, all that. So yeah, that would just be my.
Fair point. Fair point. Doris, I read the rumors that probably it would be Kroos, Camavinga, and Modric in midfield. How do you think that's gonna pan out?
I saw Chouameni join the training, or at least there
He's
was
not gonna start. No chance.
there's a video of him joining the
I think
training. Not that
Ancelotti
he's
said
gonna start.
he'll join from Sunday. Like he specifically said to maybe back.
After that, right?
Yeah, so it's next game. So yeah, that wouldn't be surprising. But what would be surprising there is that he's gonna probably start Valverde on the right wing, which is something that we don't wanna see anymore. We hold all our hopes that we get a real right winger and that Valverde, can go back to doing what he does best. But yeah, I feel like every time that he plays Modric now, he plays Valverde in the same lineup. So I don't think there's a chance of him dropping him, which means that Rodrigo won't play, which I'm not really happy about. Mostly because we don't know how Atleti will set up. Like it's still a pretty big secret, I guess. Mostly because like against Barcelona, I think Morata didn't play, and that was like the last biggest game that had. And I checked before the last biggest game that they had was against Porto in October. So they played a lot of friendlies and smaller games, and in the meantime, so yeah, their players are, I guess, not into it as much as we are. So my prediction would be that Felix will go in the midfield with Morata.
Felix is gone to Chelsea.
Someone else?
Oh fuck yeah! So I completely forgot about. That's even better for us. I completely like erased that from my mind. So yeah,
Funny thing is he's not
There
even
is-
available for Chelsea.
there is no other chance
It's
than
because he got a red card. I'm gonna just let that slide, Doris.
yeah. Let's just make that slide. But yeah, it's Atleti, like I said, and for our midfield, like I said, we don't know how they will set up. They could smuggle us in the midfield, or they could smuggle us up front with their defense, which I think like the biggest players for us tomorrow will be Camavinga and Valverde, especially given how Atletico plays usually. So yeah, I would believe that for Kroos, Modric, and Camavinga, and I think they're ready. And Modric was resting last game. He rested quite a bit, I think, and Camavinga looked ready as hell. Last game he played really well, and he deserves to play this game. And Chouameni deserves to be on the bench for one game.
Doris, some other question that I needed to pose to you. So there is some chatter regarding like maybe Modric might call it a day at the end of the season. Do you see that happening? Do you think that he's going to kind
Him
of
retiring is a possibility. That is always possible. But the things that I saw is that he's not retiring but moving to Saudi Arabia, which is ridiculous. I mean, we all know like he always said that he wants to retire here. He's almost 38, so anything he wants, he can get. And I think as much as it hurts and pains, we look ready for it. And the bigger question is not Luka, it's Tony. Like we're expecting Luka to retire. We expected him to retire last season, but he played better than ever. This season he's still playing well. So there were also rumors that he's extending. So I'm gonna choose to believe those ones instead of the ones that he's leaving, of course. But yeah, mostly people are saying that Tony is leaving with him, and that would hurt a lot because we would be losing two of the best midfielders you could have, and them leaving in a package will be even worse.
Yeah, the murmur is growing, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. Probably it is just maybe Perez's more pieces basically putting some pressure, much needed pressure on some of the veterans. Vishal, do you think
They were supposed to decide by that, by Cruz and
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
because we had to start our planning for Jude and stuff. So I was expecting all of this to get solved before. I'm not sure why.
It's never really the case because it was if you even look past the last year, the board has always like kind of made it clear that until April or May we are not gonna basically push for renewals, especially with the older players. Like
Right.
I don't think the board wants to take a chance. Like it clearly doesn't want to. And
I just feel
all the-
like Jude is a critical situation. So if we're serious about that, then his coming and Cruz Modric is going will have
I
direct
was
things to do
chatting.
with
I
it.
was chatting with Guriz Khan. Like he's a huge Liverpool fan, and he has worked with us in the past for the final preview last year as well. So I was kind of sneaking on his live show last night, and they were discussing the Dortmund Jude situation. And I put in a comment saying that like we move in silence, Jude is a blanco, but they were very against it. They said that like we have no chance of acquiring Bellingham in the summer, and he says that he's jokingly called us ITK, in the know, and he says that his sources basically says that Jude is gonna be a Scouser in 6 months' time. So it's all looking a bit up in the air, especially with our midfield situation. I just hope that the board kind of does what it needs to do. I'm pretty confident in our succession plans because we rarely get it wrong. Like if anybody gets it wrong, it's probably the player who might not really know when to call it quits. Like when you scroll across like Twitter and Instagram, like I don't want to see Modric's contract situation being the hot topic. Like I just want it to be not be discussed until it gets to a point where we can either cut ties or give him another year. But yeah, midfield it seems like Camavinga, Cruz, Modric. I think Camavinga deserves to start again. Like he has been phenomenal. I can't say enough of how proud I am. I was a huge advocate for Camavinga to be not a starter, but to be given more faith, more time, all throughout the last season. And Farouk here was, we constantly make fun of him and like pull his leg whenever we get a chance. And he used to doubt him, and I used to tell him like, watch out for this kid because when given minutes, he has stepped up. When you're 19, when you're 18, you tend to get the odd rash moments. It hasn't been that infrequent. He has that reputation for picking up a yellow card constantly, but I guess that is gonna evolve and change with time. Like Vishal, like how pivotal is Kamavinga in these kind of fixtures and in this period of time when you look at the midfield and we are kind of looking a bit light.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a huge period for Kamavinga as well. I'd say last season Kamavinga was perfect. Every time he came on, he was actually perfect. But this season, like whenever he started until like the last, I'd say 2 games or something, like I feel like he hasn't shown his level. Something, right? Something's off. A lot of times Carlo takes him off after he gets the yellow, which is fair on both. It's fair for Kaminga to get mad about that, but it's also fair for Carlo to take him out. Whatever, you can't do anything about that. I think Kaminga's whole situation for the last 2 years has been like it's literally been Modric has just been outperforming his age, right? Like we got Camavinga expecting him to step in when one of our midfielders might take a backseat, but none of our midfielders did that. Kroos just came in 2022-20 and said, I'm going to be even better than I've ever been, right? Modric was still as good. So now that he has this period, he's proved himself for sure in the last 2 games. Flawless against Athletic Club. I think the first 17, 16 minutes, like, were very shaky, but the whole team was shaky, I'd say. But once we scored, he sort of was very, very good. Even against, I think, Villarreal, he played well against Villarreal, right? I think he had a good game.
Very good game. Very good
Yeah,
game.
he had a really good game. Yeah, I remember that as well. So yeah, I feel like last two games he's been really announcing himself. Like so, I hadn't been an advocate for him starting this season until now, which I thought was fair. It's just close models Germany on very good levels. I wouldn't want to drop them. But yeah, now is a case for him to like say, okay, why not, right? Why can't I bench Modric? He is not back in form post the World Cup, right? He's asking those questions. He's asking should Chouameni should come back and be the six automatically because he was such a good six against the Athletic Club, Camavinga. So yeah, crucial period. He's doing well. I'm very happy. This is why I don't mind when we let's say stack up on players and maybe they don't get enough time because they will get time. Like the season is long, and especially a season like this, Camavinga is always going to play, and I'm glad that he's really showing his quality. This is a great time for him to like hit, let's say, his peak for the season so far, at least. Or even in a Madrid shot, like these last 2 games were really good. So great time for us for him to hit his peak. Tomorrow, I think, like Doris said, I would trust him to play the six. I think he's earned it. It should be good with Kroos, Modric, and Camavinga in the middle, especially because I think we'll sustain possession for a decent amount of time. So yeah, like he should be having fun controlling things like those two on the pitch as well, like so mentioned. So,
Fair points. Fair points. You know, Kamavinga deserves all the plaudits he's been getting. You know, I hope this is a real change of tune for him because he needs it. He needs it. He feels that this is kind of that opportunity that he waited for over like 18 months now. But yeah, Rahul in the comments, resident Atleti fan, like he always constantly reminds us, Opa Atleti, whenever he gets the chance to. Good luck for tomorrow, man. Good luck for tomorrow. I hope we thrash you, but yeah, I hope you're good, man. Also, S. Matthew here says Bellingham will be a great addition, but I prefer we get a phenomenal forward like Mbappe to help out in attack. Our midfield seems pretty stacked, even if Modric leaves. I don't know about that. If Arribas actually makes the leap, yeah, but Bellingham is a very safe option. Even though the price might seem exorbitant, like when I see Jude Bellingham, he looks like a Real Madrid.
Jude's like real dude. Like I feel like if we can get Jude should be the philosophy. He'll be game changing. Final third play, everything so good. He's just I can't say enough good things about him. I feel like he's perfect for Liverpool, unfortunately for Klopp. He's a monster off the ball, pressing everything. His angles are perfect, which would help us a lot. Our midfielders aren't natural pressers, haven't been for a while. So both teams would love to have him. I wouldn't mind having him.
He's the perfect modern midfielder. Some people used to mock my thoughts about Bellingham, saying that I would say that he would be an upgrade on Modric. and what Modric brought to the table, because Jude has plenty of goals in him, and people used to kind of mock that thought process. But I would say the way football is moving forward, players like Jude are gonna thrive, and yeah, man, like I would be really pissed to lose out to him, especially to Liverpool, man. I can't stand the lot, but
Yeah, I just
yeah.
think Jude wants to play in Europe next year, so he might come to Madrid. So yeah, that's about it. Liverpool.
No, the Brits say that, but he's an English lad, like how is he
One of
gonna,
those. If it's one of those, we were never in the back then. So yeah, whatever.
yeah. How is he gonna move to Madrid? Like, he wants to win the Premier League. I was like, bro, come on, man. you know, when it's us knocking, it's a different kind of knock.
It's a knock. It's a knock. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different really. But yeah, enough of the Jude talk. Moving on to our defense. It feels like Alaba is back, right?
I think so. Yeah, just like Germany, I saw a video of him playing. So hopefully he is, but
I don't think he'll start tomorrow.
yeah,
I don't.
I don't think he starts either. There was a squad list that I didn't look at. He might be like a sub or something, but I think given everything that happened, Nacho deserves to play. Any position you give him, he always, plays well. I don't want him to replace our right back, of course not. But even as a center back, he deserves to play. And for the first time, I'm not sad, that Alaba isn't here, because my boy Nacho is finally getting the recognition he deserves. So yeah, I feel pretty confident about tomorrow's game anyway. Sorry, Raul. I hope I don't bite my tongue. So yeah, even if Alaba doesn't come, I think we're safe. But I think he will play at least as a sub, especially how Militao tends to leave when he has a sub coming on. He is that kind of player that I'm not particularly proud of it for Militao, but at least we have someone to cover for him. And I think he is on the squad list also.
Doris, is my camera
Yeah.
vertical or landscape?
Now it's better vertical because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's good.
It's vertical, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, Alaba, I wouldn't trust him into like the depths of like seeing out the last 20 minutes. I wouldn't want him to do that. I would just see through how we saw through Villarreal. Like, it wouldn't be the most ideal situations. Rudiger, he has been slightly better last game, but like, come on, man, like he needs to really show us that like we signed
Overall up his game, yeah.
A world class defender. Like, we need him. We absolutely need him. Nacho, like you said, Doris, we can't praise the man enough, for his character, commitment to the cause. One of our captains. I really hope he has a good game. I'm pretty sure like Nacho never really drops below 7. Testament to his consistency. Like, honestly, all throughout the back line. I hope Mendy has a good game as well. He has slightly improved. Slightly, nothing to brag about, but I kind of like what I see. Mendy kind of getting back to where he left off in the Champions League last season. I just hope that like that Villarreal result last week was the fire that we needed, and I just hope our defense continues to be solid and not lose composure. We can't really go by Bilbao. Like, we knew going into Bilbao that Bilbao isn't exactly like a clinical with their chances. Like, they had 2 very good shots. The way they even like strike the ball, like it was very poor. Like, if they were like actual proper gunmen, like we should have conceded in my humble opinion. But
Yeah.
the defense has always been lackluster with our side. But yeah, up front, Vinicius guaranteed starter, Benzema starting, Fede. Do you think, Vishal, that Rodrigo coming off the bench is a better idea rather than him starting?
I definitely think so. Actually, I think we have this very annoying tendency with Rodrigo. I have no clue why Carlo does it, but he just sort of shifts Rodrigo also to the left. So now we have Vinny, Benzema, and Rodrigo combining on the left, and your right back's the only person holding width on the right. And I hate that. Like I feel like we have to stretch both sides of the pitch. That's the only way you break up. You have to move the whole shape. You can't
Yeah,
just because
Rodrigo gives us so much width, much needed width.
yeah, but especially when we're at 0-0, this is the funny thing. 0-0, like horrible when like our general width is concerned. We get very left
Yeah.
heavy. Everything is very Vinicius or nothing. Right.
Just
So
pray. When it's 0-0, it's like exactly
yeah,
like what you
it's
said. You just pray
horrible.
that Vinicius and
We
Benzema does something.
can't almost unwatchable. Very unwatchable. Like not a good one. So I want Fede on the right because he sort of like will stay on the right. He's not gonna come and occupy a space. Rodrigo might. So yeah, I think him on the right is good. Rodrigo later anywhere across the front line, if I is a good option. I think yeah, Rodrigo. Let's say even Camavinga, like there'll always be this awkwardness of they should be starting, they should be playing, or they should be playing in the right position. But yeah, like it's
Like people may not like that, but I would say it's a very good problem for us to have. Very good problem.
I'd rather have this problem than not. 100%. Like
Yeah.
it's good. You just hope
Like,
the
I'll tell
players
you,
are getting well, but
before
that's it.
Camavinga was in the picture, it never used to be like this. Now I think there is some sort of competition everywhere, apart from right back.
Exactly.
Especially because Lucas Vasquez is out. When he's there, I feel like he puts pressure on Danny because Lucas Vasquez, although we can meme him however we want, like he is also someone that does the job.
Zidane Vasquez was Cafu straight up. Nothing.
Absolutely. Oh my god! Like the amount of clutch performances under Zidane.
But yeah, talking about Nacho, I think one more thing. I think Ancelotti. So this is for Doris. I think Ancelotti directly mentioned that Nacho will be right back. So I think that's gonna happen tomorrow. Which means I guess Rudiger is gonna start with Militao. Which I think like you guys, I'm not very like I'm a little shaky on that. Not convinced so far. Whenever like I feel like he's overly using like his physique, which is not enough in Spain. Like people have technique, people will just hold you up or just spin past you. They don't care, right? You can't muscle them up the wall. So bit of a mismatch for him there. I hope he sort of like recovers. That's all you can do, I feel.
Militao is a victim.
Sorry?
Rahul, Militao, in my opinion, is a victim of his own qualities. Like when you have that kind of raw power and pace, you kind of underestimate your opponents. It's bound to happen. All the best defenders, like if you look at them, Sergio Ramos, Pepe, you name anyone, like there will be certain periods in the season where they kind of don't expect to be rinsed as much. And Militao, like whenever I see him getting rinsed, that's what comes across, at least to me, that he sometimes kind of thinks probably he has the situation under control, but before you know it, like you said, like the attacker has done him. But yeah, like you could clearly say that Militao has been our best centre back, at least post World Cup.
Right? Yeah. No, overall Militao has. I was talking about Rudiger, like he's just I don't know. Like Rudiger is just a biggest red flag right now, because Alaba Militao has worked forever ever since they've been a thing.
Nacho Militao has worked very well.
Nacho Militao also has been really good. But yeah, now that we have Rudiger, we kind of have to play him. But I really hope, like I'd say, like you guys said, we've been better post World Cup. I kind of agree. We can only hope it's the start of a new plan. Like until the World Cup, I don't know. I just couldn't watch. So horrible. Really, like passive, while attacking, not really going for the ball, just trying to like really bad signs. Like something that Militao does so well. You keep pecking balls away. You keep, like winning the ball back, high up the pitch, back pitch, wherever. So yeah, that's my only worry. I hope we don't concede. That's about. If we don't, I think we should be okay. But we can't concede first, especially to Atleti. Like 1-0
Oh
is
my
there.
God, yeah. That's the
Breakfast,
worst
lunch,
thing
and
that happened.
dinner. Yeah, just go to sleep. They can go to sleep. We'll be fine. But yeah, we need
What
to score the first goal.
Atleti is basically rolling into town, thinking to themselves, you know what? Like, yeah, it'll be a hostile atmosphere, but if we get one early, we can
Yeah.
completely silence the Bernabeu. And if they
Yeah.
get two, it's game over. It's basically done.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
doesn't
see
matter
a
how
way.
bad Atleti are. Like, on a cup day, cup game, big team, big
Yeah.
match,
The derby,
occasion.
man.
I, I don't know. Like it's not. You can't put like the season so far at Atleti
Yeah.
as context. It's its own thing. Like it's a derby, it's a cup game, knockout. Everybody knows 90 minutes.
Form goes out of the window. It's basically
Yeah, exactly.
on the line. So,
Agree.
yeah, man. I hope our defense is able to cope. Because Atleti, like even though we can't really worry much about their other aspects, but their attack uh, might like be a huge threat. Especially since like guys like Felix are out. I think like they'll be much more up for it. Yeah, man. Moving on to the keeper, Thibaut is gonna start again. We had discussed, whether Lunin deserved a chance and whatnot, but yeah, like Doris, you don't see a way back for Lunin.
Definitely not. I mean, unless Thibaut is injured or something really happens, only then will Lunin probably play. But apart from that, it's usual. Like it's not something that people do. Use other goalkeepers. You use your main one, and unless something happens to him, you use your substitute. But Thibaut is definitely gonna play, and especially against Atletico, I don't think there's much of a question for him. I mean, I'm sad that Lunin doesn't get to play as much each season. Like he gets like 2 or 3 games, and that's pretty much it. And it's normal for someone like him and his role in this club. But Thibaut is healthy. He's good. He's playing good. He will definitely start. But hopefully, Lunin gets other opportunities. He deserves them.
Completely agree. Completely agree. It's a sorry situation for Luna. We all know the clear qualities that he possesses, but when you're up against the best in the business, it's kind of harsh on him. But I hope he gets a shout, man. Like he gets a much deserved like number 2 spot even next year. But I don't see him really maximizing his career potential staying with us. But that's for another episode whole alone. Um, yeah, like happy news for Matthew. Matthew was mentioning in the chat earlier, like he said, Jude is amazing, but if it came down to a choice between a superstar forward or midfielder, we really need the goals and more spice in attack. I agree, but that's the thing. You can't miss out on Jude. That's my only takeaway. Like you gotta get him on our side, and then probably Mbappe, he'll play for us. Before like he moves past his prime, he's gonna play for us. So I'm not too fussed about it. Also, Jude Bellingham's team of the year includes 5 Real Madrid players. Like he was bigging up Militao, Fede, Luka Modric, Toni Kroos. So you never know. I think the proof is in the pudding. Like he might. Yeah, like I think he is kind of inclining towards us. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm quietly confident that he might. It's only because like where Liverpool's at right now. I'd be worried about City more than Liverpool. To be very frank.
It's mostly.
I feel like Go on. Sorry.
Sorry, it's mostly Liverpool is looking, pretty tough this season. I mean, for them, some people are, bantering them that they won't even reach the top four for the Champions League. And in a crazy situation, if that happens, he probably. But most comments that I've read about him from Liverpool fans are that if he's gonna come to Liverpool just to go to Madrid in his prime years, that we don't want him, and that is kind of funny that that is even an option for them to happen, because it seems for Jude that anywhere he goes, he will eventually end up with us. So it's funny that's the way they're looking at it, that they don't want him if he will leave. Like they want him if he will stay there for forever, I guess. And Madrid isn't that kind of team. Like as soon as you're sketchy, you're going. If your contract allows it, of course. But yeah, there's so many people excited for Jude. Like our midfield looks stacked already. Of course, Jude would be an immense signing, but I agree with other people that are saying that maybe he shouldn't be our top priority. And I say like that's fair. Like that is a fair argument to have. Like we have many holes in our team that we need to fill before we can sign him. And I mean it's the same thing for Liverpool, but I like how Perez does his business, and I hope, especially now, I read that Fran Garcia is being called up for Bayer Leverkusen, where's Xavi.
Xavi knows his thing.
Yeah, so that's also something. Like we have many spots in our team that we need to fill, many businesses that we need to take care of before we think about it.
It is reported that like we might execute the 5 million clause, like which is peanuts. I repeat, peanuts for a very talented player who is gonna contribute a lot. Like he is.
We could use him right now. Not even that. Like we could use it right now. It sucks, and yeah. If we can fill all of those, like they're saying that we won't sign anyone in the next couple of days, which is really sad. Which means that in the summer we need to go all out for fullbacks and for attackers. Like I don't think there will be much space for Jude in the summer. If what we're suspecting happens, that we actually sign players, which. Knowing Ancelotti, and if he stays, hopefully he brings on some players. But from what we've seen until now, he's not like the manager that asks for so many players and give me money. Like he plays with what he has, and that might even cost us later because he sees complacent with the team that he has, and maybe it's better if we actually get someone that wants players, because at least we can fucking afford them, out of all clubs, so yeah, Jude would be an immense signing, but not something that we should even be thinking about right now. We need Garcia, we need our fullbacks, we need a right winger, we need a striker, we need so many other players, and unless Jude can play some of those, I'm pretty sure like we need someone else. And fair to him, like he's a class player, but
yeah, absolutely. So as Matthew was saying, who do you think would be the midfield subs if Jude joins, and do you think they would be happy with that role? Like I think if Toni Kroos is going to stay, my midfield with Jude is going to be Germany, Bellingham and Kroos. That's gonna be mad. It's gonna be really spicy. But
disgusting. Let's predict. That's pretty much a cheat code, and
it is a cheat code. Like if Germany and Bellingham starts together with Kroos, like Kroos's deficiencies are completely, I repeat, completely negated.
Yeah.
Like there is so much energy to compensate for Kroos's, lack of. So yeah, like I feel that would be like. Do you think, Vishal, that'll be a good shout?
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'd love that. I mean, yeah, it does bring up who do you leave on the bench and stuff like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
as we keep discovering, that's a problem we'd rather have. Not have. But I also agree with Doris centrally. If we look at it, if we zoom out and look, there are other positions that need to be filled before June.
But
I hope that the
do we ever operate like that? We never
yeah
operate like
that's the point. I was wondering if the
that. We
board
don't
also
we
has
don't
an eye
plug the
on that.
holes.
Yeah.
We don't plug the holes. We create new ones. That's what we
Yeah,
do.
Exactly.
new ship. Yeah, just hold a new ship.
We're just gonna play Modric as a striker again, and we're good.
Yeah.
4-0
Look at
every
that.
game. Doesn't matter
Back
for
to
which
right
team.
I hope Carlo doesn't do something like that this season because boy oh boy,
He
last
won't.
season,
He won't. He won't. He won't.
last season I knew how I felt.
To be fair, he tried. To be fair, that one game, and then he was like, "Cool, I'm out."
Dude,
Than that
Yeah.
again.
if that worked, we never would have stopped talking about that. If that actually worked, but that's not Pep and it's Ancelotti. Just don't use your players like that. But yeah, the combination of Valverde and Jude is what's more exciting to me. Like those two high energy players, attacking
On
players,
the right side, yeah.
Blah. But yeah.
Elamas is back. Hala Madrid. Elamas, good to see you again, my
Welcome.
friend. Hope you guys are doing good. Big up. As Matthew also said that Bellingham, Mbappe, and two great fullbacks would make us amazing again. I completely agree, but how realistic that is, it remains to be seen. Fullbacks are absolutely the necessity right now. Like we can all see that we clearly lack in that department. I hope we go deep into competitions and hope for the best. I mean, I can't say anything concrete in late January. Like I'm not in the position to do so. A younger me would be here, chest out and saying that we're going to repeat the Champions League. We're going to go back to back again. But I'm just keeping my fingers crossed and hoping for the best. Looking at the squad for tomorrow, we have Odriozola in it. Like it is basically the most pointless inclusion again. Like whenever I see Odriozola, I think what could have been, like when he was at Sociedad, like he was really good. Like I used to rate him. The other good inclusions in like you can call it a good inclusion or you can call it taking the piss. Either way, Mario Martin is in. I hear good things about him. I hope someday he gets to showcase his talents. Arribas needs to start. Not even saying that he needs to come onto the bench. In an El Derby, I get the point that we need to respect the opposition. Like we need the older heads to do the job. But a player like Arribas can't rot like in Castilla forever. This season it looks highly unlikely, but next season I fully believe that he'll be incorporated into the first team and really stamp his authority because he is a quality player. I just feel sad, like looking at some of these names that never really get a chance. It is just baffling. It's just baffling.
I've just learned to accept it over the years. Like at this point, I'm just whatever. Like we're not that club. We're never gonna be that club.
We'll never be that club,
We just have to be better at loaning players out. That will solve a lot of these problems.
We used to
It'll
be good.
we used to be good. Yeah,
Usually.
go on.
No. The thing that I wanted to bring up was that Vishal, like back in the day, I used to be chirping the same tunes, basically lamenting our loan decisions and wondering why the fuck do we loan people out to places like Mallorca? Like, what good is gonna come by that? But now I kind of realize that mid-tier clubs, like you can't do a Carvajal to Leverkusen like we did back in 2015. Now, I don't think any clubs want to be the feeder club for the big guns, the big dogs. They don't want to be in that position. They feel like if someone approaches them with that kind of condition, it's like undermining their worth.
Yeah.
Isn't like am I tripping, or is that probably the reason why we don't see those kind of high profile loaning
Loan.
out for some of
I
our
feel like
players?
loans as of now, our recent strategy has been to loan around Spain itself, which I'm actually okay with. Get used to
I'm okay
expand.
with, but
Yeah.
it's got to be a bit more higher profile teams, right?
I don't
Like
think it's focused enough. Like I feel like we've lost complete focus in the last 2 years. There's been random loans. Steady. I mean,
Renier Jesus,
holding
man,
steady
where is
fine.
he? Where is he?
Yeah.
Where is
Renes
he?
is rotted in whatever Dortmund, I guess, and now he's okay. Yeah,
Corona,
now he's
he's
not
kind of
getting
back,
time.
right?
But he's not getting time because he's not breaking through. Other players are playing better. So
Mm.
yeah, that's just I feel like if we loan teams better, loan players a bit better. Like we
Brahim
sent
Diaz has been
Latasa
good.
to
Has
yeah,
been a good
Brahim
addition.
Diaz. Yeah, I wonder if he'll come back. It's fine. Like I mean, I'm
We
not too excited about.
he doesn't have a role with us unless it's on
Not
the
gonna
right.
play CAM. Yeah, and on the right, I'd rather play many other people. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like
yeah, I don't think.
he quite doesn't have it. He doesn't have
But
the yeah.
he
Go.
should. We shouldn't throw his like career out on the right. Also, I mean, it's
Yeah,
fine. Let's bring him to play. But yeah,
we have
generally
good relations
speaking, like
with Milan. Like like I would suggest like loaning out some of them to places like Milan, places like Napoli.
yeah.
Like
But
we
at this
gotta move.
point, that's what they. I don't think they want like loan
I know, I
anyone.
know, I know, I know. It like they have a very clear identity now. Like when Brahim went to Milan, Milan wasn't the side that they are today. Although they're kind of like I don't know, 15 points off Napoli, um, in second
Yeah,
at this
Napoli
moment.
is just blazed.
Yeah,
Like,
but like loan deals like that is only gonna help us. Like even in La Liga, it should be Sociedad or like obviously not Bilbao, but Sociedad or Betis or like Sevilla, places like that is gonna help a player. But it is what it is. Yeah, man. I guess that is pretty much it. Big game, big game tomorrow. A big game in 10 minutes, right? Like Sociedad facing Barcelona. Uh, like spoiler alert, like you guys know who we are rooting for, but
yeah.
I hope Sociedad can make our job easier. Granted that we qualify ourselves tomorrow, fingers crossed,
Yeah.
fingers crossed. But yeah, final predictions, people, for tomorrow. I'll start with you, Doris. Go for it.
Uh, huh. Well, Atletico doesn't concede that much, but they don't even score that much, which is the opposite of us. We concede a lot, but also don't score a lot. So yeah, it will be an interesting game. My prediction is 2-0 for us. A solid 2-0.
Vishal.
Yeah, I think I was swinging the same way, like one or 2-0. I feel like we should like the last Madrid derby gives me a lot of hope. We completely just batted them out of the game, like a Dravid innings. Like we just, nothing. They had nothing to play with. Nothing. So I think we can replicate that. Even though Chouameni isn't there, that's a very crucial factor. I think Camavinga can step in and help with that. So
And
as long as we control the game, we should be good. 1-0. Yeah, go on, Dara.
most our games we play 0-0 until the halftime. Most of our games, and quite a few games lately, teams have scored in the first half against us, which it's a bit of a new thing for us in the last season, our season and a half, and yeah. And as long as we keep that 0-0 until the halftime, it's all ours to take it. And in my opinion, and my honestly, it's just a prediction. I don't think Atleti will score tomorrow because, like I said, like they're not
The expected
scoring that
lineup,
much.
the expected lineup screams that they're gonna score. They
I
might not score first, but they'll definitely score. The expected lineup for tomorrow is Oblak, Molina, Savage, Hermoso, and Reinildo making up the defense. DePaul, Koke, and Lemar in midfield. Correa, Morata, and Griezmann up front. I bet you they're gonna score. So
Uh,
we gotta be
yeah,
very.
it all depends like on our defense who's gonna play, and like the goals that people have scored against us are horrible. Especially in the last few games, like all of those were like really really bad mistakes and individual mistakes mostly. And if we can keep those on the low, like as a team we play well, but sometimes individuals let us down for like a split second or a brain fart, and that always happens, and like it always is, it's gonna be a tough game. I just have that feeling, sometimes you just have the feeling like you're either gonna win or lose. For tomorrow I'm pretty optimistic, so yeah, I'm basing my grade on that.
Elamas says that I love the confident Doris. Well,
You'll see, it's 2-0 tomorrow, you'll see.
as Ed Matthew said that it's gonna be 2-1. Vishal, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I said 1 or 2 nil. Atletico scoring tomorrow depends a lot on how we defend our counter-attack. If we don't do that well, it's over. They play very fast.
No.
When they get the ball, they're gonna break. 5 seconds, 6 seconds, they're already in your box, right? They don't even care about possession. They're just looking for forward passes like that.
And that's
So
how teams play
Camavinga
against
becomes
us.
very yeah.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
exactly.
what teams
So
do against us. That's exactly the way
and
you can exploit our
these guys are
defense.
probably and these guys are probably the best at that, like in the last
No.
many years. So Camavinga has a huge role tomorrow. Camavinga, I don't know. I hope he's playing the six and not Cruz, but yeah, if he's playing the six, big role tomorrow. He has to stop all those counters magically, like Casemiro used to. I don't know how, but yeah, as long as we control the game, I expect a 1-2-0.
I'm
Otherwise,
just
That's the thing.
I'm just praying for Valverde and Morata moment again. That would really be nice on my heart. Even if it's a red card, like that would be really really nice.
A red card and a winning card.
Yeah.
I don't want you jinxing all this goodwill that we have built up in the last 5 minutes of the evening.
Just
Yeah.
clip it and embarrass me somewhere.
I hope that's
Don't-
not the case. I
don't
don't want
clip
fucking
Don't
I'll
clip
be
it.
honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Going back to Vishal's point, like if you asked me 2 weeks ago, Chouameni missing, I would say, man, oh man, like we are looking at dire straits. But Kamavinga has stepped up. I truly believe that he's gonna be one of the major reasons we nick the win tomorrow. I see it being a very tightly contested, high-scoring game. I say 3-2 to us. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty. I think we need some sort of magic to beat Atleti tomorrow, because the onus is on us. Remember, we are at home. We are favorites. It's like back to them, early 2010 days where Atleti doesn't look like Atleti anymore. So the onus is gonna be on us, and it is gonna, like what Vishal alluded to earlier, it's gonna be a different kind of pressure to perform. I hope the boys step up, man. Big game tomorrow. And I hope the players get motivated by the fact that Barcelona got kicked out tonight. So yeah, fingers crossed to that. Before we go, check out our partners on Instagram, Real Madrid Committee. They run a very very good Real Madrid fan page. So yeah, go check them out. Also, if you haven't subscribe to the channel. Leave a like. It helps with the algorithm, like I always mention. A like goes a long way. It's free. It doesn't take anything. So yeah, man. If you guys love what we do, please reciprocate the appreciation. And yeah, we are also available on all audio platforms. Spotify, Google Podcasts, you name it. So yeah, check them out. We have crossed over 40,500 plays. In a little over a year. So yeah, man, very humbled by all the love that we are getting. And yeah, until next time, Ala Madrid, and get the job done tomorrow. Get the job done.
Ala Madrid.